20-year-olds that aren't lucky enough to have a financial advisor like you, especially in this year of chaos, what are the very simple, what are the things that they should look at in terms of whether it's S&P, just simple numbers that will tell them not maybe the whole picture, but just some version of the picture of what's going on?
I think for anybody that's young and starting, well, it doesn't matter young, but let's just you said somebody that's young. I think you should have three buckets or like three strategies.
Okay.
You have a reserve, which we call like a cash flow reserve bucket, where I believe that you should have at least 3 to 6 months of your household expenses, or your salary inflow, right, or your earnings inflow into that bucket, and that bucket should be somewhere safe, like whether it's treasuries or whatever, something safe, right? Then you should have something that is maybe a midterm bucket, maybe like I would say maybe a 1 to 5 year play to do something with that, and then you should have a third bucket that is somewhere for much more long, right? Something that's like 10 years out, 15 years out, right? So first establishing that, and then establishing, I think, a systematic way of saving, because people don't save enough.
They don't know how to.
They exactly, like people. There's if you Google this, like it'll just
they overspend. They spend more than they can afford.
They whatever they do, they don't save enough, right?
Yeah.
But it's like how do you save? Well, okay, well we take a look at your cash flow, like do a budget. Like, many times I've spoken with doctors and with, successful people. I was like, what is your budget? They go, I have no idea. And I'm like, wow. I was like, you're missing out on that cash flow analysis. And that's what we do. We do cash flow analysis. We do asset analysis, liability analysis, protection analysis. So those are things that we do, even though, we don't get compensated for it. But it's important that a client knows, hey, this is how much money is going there. And I had one client that he was just like, Amazon. Like, it was like thousands and thousands of dollars on Amazon. And I was like, do you know that you're spending X amount of money on Amazon? He goes, oh, I didn't know. That was like my daughter, on the account. And it was like thousands of dollars. I mean, he's not going to get mad at her, but then he was just going to be like, hey, what's going on? Like use the corporate card or something like that, right? Instead of, but what I'm saying is like that. So establishing those strategies, right, for the short term, midterm, and the long term, and then saving, figuring out how your cash flow is most efficient, and then directing it into those buckets. That is I think would be the biggest start, right? Because number one, we've eliminated the fear of not having money in a reserve. That's the number one problem, right? So, hey, if something happens, I don't get this job, I don't get this commission if I'm in a commission-based business, like at least I have 3 to 6 months of now money, which I can, continue to work, and then I'll receive that income, right? And then the second bucket is right there for you to kind of save, but it's in a plan. I usually call those plans real estate plans. Like, somebody like a young couple that comes to me and says, they just got out of medical school, they want to become doctors already, like, and then was like, they want to buy a house, right? First thing, I'm like, great, it's a 5-year plan. Like, let's save 5 years. Let's not rush into it. Save 5 years. I'll put you in contact with the right people, and then, we'll save there. And the third bucket is for something further down the road. Because if we don't approach those three things, we're going to miss out on time. Time is going to go by so quickly that by the time, if we don't do those three strategies or those three principles of savings,
start the better.
Yeah. Exactly. Because, the most expensive asset that we have is time.
100%.
You ask anybody, any most successful person, if I can give you 5 years more or 10 years back to go, how much he would give you everything.
Time is the ultimate winner.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you start right at the right time, just start and just save and save. Saving is very, very important.
Eventually that opportunity is going to show up. And then
exactly. Yeah.
You see, all of these podcasts we've done so far, none of our guests ever said, this is the fastest way. It's not such thing. There's no such thing as fastest way. You got time. You gotta put the hours and do the work.
Put the hours. Yeah.